Judaism has an understanding of what drives anti-Semitism itself, which we understand has to do very much with the Jewish people. Because one of the most interesting aspects of supposed the reasons for hating Jews is very few of them have to do with Judaism. There's very little Jewish about hating Jews. You know, capitalist, communist, warlike, passive, different, the same, strong, weak, those are not Jewish traits. What Judaism would say is really when you push all of the excuses aside, bottom line, what ultimately drives it, even subliminally in the collective consciousness of humanity, are much deeper things that have to do with who we are as a people and what we're supposed to accomplish in this world. And so to understand that, so you have to understand what our mission has been in history, which in itself is a great discussion. But bottom line is the uniqueness of the Jewish people, beginning with Abraham, is that in a world that is remarkably amoral and very brutal and callous thousands of years ago, and was completely polytheistic with everyone believing in multiple gods, along comes this one man, Abraham, who radical transformative super genius, thinking outside the box, is able to connect to a completely counterintuitive idea of an infinite invisible being, God, this one God. Everything else is an illusion and not really there. And a being that gives humanity one absolute standard of morality. That, you know, and that is, I think Dennis Prager may have coined the phrase ethical monotheism. The notion of one God who gives one standard of morality that is not subject to what the majority wants, what is expedient, what is the ancient world was a brutal, brutal place. Infanticide, killing of newborn babies for population control and sex selection was universal. Blood sport, inequality, injustice. These were aspects of even the most technologically, culturally sophisticated civilizations of the ancient world. Because we think there's a connection between culture and technology and law and order and morality. There's no connection in human history. Some of the most technologically, culturally, and law and order societies in human history have been the most brutal, whether it's ancient Rome or Nazi Germany. The really transformative idea the Jews brought into the world is that all the illusions aside, all the nonsense of polytheism aside, there's one infinite being who gives one standard of morality to all of humanity. And that's absolute. You can't mess with that. And what we've been doing since the time of Abraham has been dragging the world, kicking and screaming, towards that vision of morality and one God, and trying to connect humanity to God. That's really the Jewish people's job, the God Squad, as I call ourselves. And anti-Semitism, regardless of what excuse it hides behind, and a lot of the people, the masses believe these excuses, by the way. You know, that does, just because they're not true doesn't mean people don't believe them. Like I said, all stereotypes about groups of people are individuals. But like a doctor who's trying to really diagnose, you can be distracted by the symptoms like the sores on the skin, but the real disease is inside. Everyone's been mistreating and misdirecting. So, but when we clear all that aside, this is the driving cause. The way I would say it is we've been dragging humanity, kicking and screaming towards a vision of values and creating a world based on relationship with this one God. And anti-Semitism, regardless of whatever excuse it hides behind, on its deepest level, is always a rebellion against the national historic mission of the Jewish people. Even someone like Hitler sees it beautifully. Hitler has some amazing quotes. He's, I know it's weird quoting Hitler about Jews, but sometimes the people that hate us the most understand us the best. That makes sense because they understand what the real Jewish threat is. And Hitler says that the Jews put two scars on humanity, conscience on the soul and circumcision on the body, and both are inventions of the Jew. And that is one of the greatest backhanded compliments ever given to the Jewish people. We gave humanity a conscience. And whenever evil has come into the world, because we would define evil as the antithesis of those God-given values, it's always going to target the source of those values, which is God, but you can't go attack God. So it's going to attack the people who are supposed to be representing these values to humanity, which explains why evil always has dictators and things almost always have their crosshairs on the Jewish people first. Hitler starts with the Jews, then he spreads everywhere else. And why evil nations like Iran and North Korea are always going to target the Jewish state. Evil targets Jews because even on a subliminal level, there's a recognition that ultimately what this is really all about, even though a lot of Jews don't even get this and aren't representing the Jewish people, is that it is a rebellion against that national historic mission that we've had for 3,700 years.